Good morning, Andrew Edwards from Dirty Boots here. Now, the schedule normally goes like this. It normally goes Mondays are just for general reviews, Wednesdays if there's a special on, and Fridays I'll do like some unsigned or independent guys. Now, today is not Friday. Today is actually Sunday. Let's pretend it's Friday just for today, okay? So today, Friday, I will talk about artists and records that I feel maybe need a little bit more exposure, a little bit more attention, just to really bring people to kind of the forefront. You know, I want to use this channel to make sure I get people into music. Today I'm going to be talking about Bearfoot Beware and their record, The World Owes You Nowt. Bearfoot Beware are a post-punk, math, grunge, garage, lo-fi, fuck it, post-grunge. Bearfoot Beware are a post-grunge band from Leeds. They're also a part of the Yorkshire-based music collective Chunk, a DIY collective, a very close-knit bunch of guys. Really done a lot for the Yorkshire scene. I definitely recommend you check them out, especially Zozo, who have a new record coming out soon, which I'm definitely going to review. Now, this album, The World Owes You Nowt, came out in April 2015, but I didn't actually pick it up until around October or November. I saw them at an underground show here in Leeds, and they just blew me away. It's really rare you find a band that are as powerful and aggressive live as they are on the record. And even more than their performance dynamic, their technical prowess comes through so much live, which is especially difficult when you've got music that is just this mental. Now, apparently, Bearfoot Beware have a new record coming out fairly soon, which I'm definitely going to review. But for now, let's just focus on this one. Let's focus on Bearfoot Beware, The World Owes You Nowt. Now, I call this band post-grunge, and what you normally mean when you call something a post-genre, that normally means that you take the elements, you take the core ideas of the original genre, and then refresh it in such a way that it sounds modern. And that's exactly what Bearfoot Beware, with everything that grunge stood for: the apathy, the passive aggression, the cynicism, the angst. So take grunge bands like Mudhoney or Nirvana, and combine it with the technicality of hardcore bands like Fugazi or At the Drive-In, and that's exactly what you get with Bearfoot Beware. This record is a great example of their sound, really good to start off with. But I don't mean technicality in like an overly pretentious sort of way. I mean that this band clearly knows what they're doing. They're clearly very aware of the direction they need to take things in. They don't like to keep things simple, but they also don't like to keep things too over the top. They just know how to tell a story. So the opener on this record, Thick Black War Paint, has is one of the most ironic bass lines I've ever heard. It's so crunchy and so well textured, but at the same time so smooth and so easy to listen to, so groovy as well. In fact, this record is just one big oxymoron. You know, there's so much playfulness to it, there's so many bright sounds, there's so much funk to it, it's got this danceability, but at the same time, it's so heavy and so weighted and just swaggers down. The first track on here, Thick Black War Paint, probably the biggest example of that. So much discord, so much dissonance with the guitar against this really crunchy bass and this really weighted drum that just taps away at the rim. It's really creative stuff. And the vocalist, all the vocals are sort of delivered like nursery rhymes, like chants, very playful, very almost kind of pop punk, sort of like Weezer. Thick Black War Paint segues into the next track, He Should Have Died as a Kid. And again, the vocals are very anthemic, just chanting. The riffs are a mess. It's like an epileptic fit sonically. So many riffs to grab onto, so much going on at once. I just love both of these tracks. It's not all gritting teeth and broken bones, though. On the track Ongoing Opera, the band really open up their sound. It's very soundscapey, very slow, much broader, really taking advantage of a stereo field, before jumping almost immediately back into the very tight, very minimal arrangement that you've already heard on this album. In fact, this is one of the things I really love about this band, is that they're just a standard 3-piece meal from KFC. Just a standard guitar, bass, and drums, but they sound so powerful and so loud. Everything is at a maximum. Everything is so tight at the same time. It's just this perfect balance of texture. What's more than that is that there isn't a ton of overdubbing on this album. You know, they're not trying to be more than what they are. And I think that's why this material works just as well on the studio album as it does live, because there's really no difference. This band, Bearfoot Beware, they really take their arrangement as far as they can. They really twist the textures, really split the structures up in such a way that it just evolves and fluctuates sonically. All the while, though, they never stray too far from the source material, just sticking towards the power trio aesthetic, just using the tools that they've been given, very innovative. I think a lot of bands with this sort of lineup, just a standard power trio, could really learn from Bearfoot Beware, because they just take their material as far as they can go, while still staying true to their sound. My god, what a well-developed sound it is as well. Like, these are guys that really know their instruments, and they also really know their style. They know how to play what they want to play. It doesn't feel like anything's just sort of come off the top of their head. It doesn't feel like anything is a death by riff sort of situation. Instead, it just feels like one big, cohesive, flowing piece that evolves, but is still the same stream, if you want to get pretentious about it. Lyrically, the grunge aspects of passive aggression, cynicism, and apathy really come through quite strong. It's very short statements, but very filled with imagery as well. This is one of those bands that takes a direction that less is more with their lyrics. Allow the listener to really fill the gaps. I think it's fair to say that the music and the lyrics really complement each other very well on this record. I'm going to go back to Thick Black War Paint because that's a great example of it. The music is very sharp, but the imagery is very dystopic. A valley drawn by daggers, drowning your morals in thick black war paint. For a while, I thought this song was about Lord of the Flies, and that's just a sort of open book that Bearfoot Beware really give the listener here. And I mean, there's some really ironic, almost sort of slightly gruesome kind of lyrics here, like light reflects off the leftover hair grease on the window pane. Very strange, very surreal lyrics, but very simply delivered. That's where that passive-aggressive side comes into it. They're not trying to overtell the story. In fact, a lot of the lyrics read sort of like modern poetry. In Ongoing Opera, again, the conveyor belt throws out one haircut after the next. Get into the process, success, success, success. A focus on repetition, a focus on apathy, a focus on sort of modern industrial surrealism. But I mean, post-analysis aside, this band clearly have a process that works for them. Like I said, they have a very well-defined sound, a very developed style. It's very exciting, it's very fresh, and it feels very organic as well, which is very rare with a power trio, a guitar-orientated band. Alright, look, this review has been pretty calm so far, but it's hard to describe just how explosive this album is. I mean, listen to Smoker. Listen to how aggressive and how raw and how throaty it is. It's so visceral sounding as well. The drummer is fucking amazing. Going back to technical prowess, this band are just tight, and the drummer with what sounds like this tiny little kit, but he pounds at it like he's Zach Hill, just making the absolute most of what he's got. And the guitar and the bass on this track, Smoker, just dive in and dive up again. And in this track, Smoker, the tempo, the pulse just keeps going, just keeps knocking away. It doesn't stop. You can't catch a break with this band. There are some tracks where the dynamics really draw back, but even then, it's there to fuck you out. In fact, the best track on this album to really showcase a mastery of dynamics would be E by Gum, where I used the phrase death by riff earlier, and that's really what this track's all about. But the band manipulate it in such a way that you're constantly trying to follow it. It's the same material over and over again, but they duck everything out until it's just the ghost notes on the snare. In fact, speaking of riffs, there's a lot of homophony in this album. The bass and the guitar really sharing a lot of parts, but it comes out very thick. It comes out like really bitter toothpaste. What? Bitter toothpaste. But yeah, gritting teeth, really shit toothbrush. In fact, just picture it like you're brushing your teeth with, I don't know, like a toilet brush. That's what this album feels like. It just doesn't feel natural, but still, it's so acidic. The caffeine's catching up to me now. Let's actually finish this review. That was sort of my little in-depth going into detail about Bearfoot Beware's record, The World Owes You Nowt. Okay, so I might be getting a little bit carried away with this review, but if you've ever wanted to know what brain freeze sounds like, it's probably going to be this album. You know, it's just so sharp and so sour and just so intense to listen to. You know, it's like, imagine your brain's a lemon and it's just getting squeezed out. Like, it's a really challenging record for something so simple, for something so minimal in arrangement. You know, they really take it, you know, to space with their arrangement. They really try and take things as far and intense as they can. They try and keep you as hooked as possible by switching it up when you least expect it. And it really is just riff after riff after riff. And I don't mean one riff per song. I mean like 3 or 4 riffs a song. And not just your standard verse, chorus stuff. I mean, they really try and just give you an experience. They take you on a ride, you know. It's like they've just got me hooked like I'm a fish, and they just keep trying to reel me in. I'm going to give this album a B+. I mean, I'm definitely wanting to see what they do next. I know that they're capable of a lot more, because this is just such a strong record, and it feels like there's a great amount of material here to be evolved on. So Bearfoot Beware, Leeds-based band, check them out. I'm going to provide a Bandcamp link in the description, as well as a link to Chunk, so you can get familiar with them. Great band, B+. And that's it. Bearfoot Beware, The World Owes You Now. That was my first unsigned / independent review, which is out every Friday, not Sunday. It's not Sunday today, it's Friday. Make sure you guys subscribe so you can really keep up to date with all the videos I'm doing. On Mondays, we just have sort of the general reviews. Wednesdays, we might have a special on. I'm still working on the Best of the Naughties album series. And Friday, we just look at music that I feel needs more exposure. But I'm also willing to take recommendations from you guys. If you guys maybe have an album out yourself, or your friend does, or you've just listened to this band and you want them to be heard by more people, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know by email. However you can. I'm always happy to hear new music. And thanks very much for watching, guys. Andrew Edwards from Dirty Boots, signing off now. You know, have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.